Okay, so sort of 60, 100 quid's worth of diesel, got the motorbike on the back, 10 gallons of water, so this is as heavy as we've ever been. We're off to Wales. So left home about 5:30, threw a flask of coffee in the truck. Truck with a bike on it is here, didn't miss a beat on the way down. 60 miles an hour, and it was all good all the way. So now we're going to get it unloaded, going to get the camp set up, going to have a bit of breakfast. We're in Wales.
So Roach is still on his desire to lose a few pounds. So most mornings I have kind of fresh fruit and yoghurt, and today will be no exception. Just got kind of melon, grapes, apple, orange, and I'm going to put some blackberries in with a lovely strawberry yoghurt, and that's going to be breakfast. Sometimes if I busy myself, this can take me right through to my kind of evening meal. It probably won't today, but like most big animals, I seem to find myself grazing. Oh. Wow, it took me about 3 hours, I suppose, to get down this morning. It's sort of, with the motorcycle on the back, I'm doing about 55, 60 kind of all the way, so not exactly a snail's pace, but not exactly kind of roaring along either. But wanted to sort of, up and out, seize the day, and I've got a few days on my hands. I'm not working until the weekend, so here I am. I've got a friend who's down here camping with me as well, and I'll introduce them in a bit. For anybody that's at all interested, Roach was 20 stone and 4 pounds last Christmas, and my youngest son is a martial artist, and he's made the transition from being a martial artist to being a fighter. So he does all sorts of martial arts, he mixed martial artists, and like I say, he's made this transition. The difference really between a martial artist and a fighter is, I think it was Mike Tyson had a famous quote, everyone's got a plan right up to the point where they get that first punch on the nose. Well, the difference is, a fighter will sort of suck that up, get straight back into to the fight, whereas someone unaccustomed to fighting might be overwhelmed. They may do all of their katas and their techniques, and that's all absolutely perfect, but try doing that after someone's giving you a really good sort of punch on the nose. That's a completely different animal. So Jake is at the peak of fitness, and encourage the old man to lose a bit of weight. Very simply, I tried to cut out refined food. So when I was growing up, my parents were greengrocers, so I lived on fresh fruit and veg really, and I've just gone back to it. So I cut out refined sugar. I cut down on the red meat, so I eat a lot of chicken and I eat a lot of fish. I cut out the alcohol, and that's about it really, I suppose. I try to cut down on wheat as well. I don't eat as much bread as perhaps I used to. So they're the kind of things that I have adjusted in my kind of eating habits, or tried to. I've lost 3 stone today, you know. So, but I'm still hoping to maybe get down and lose another stone if I can. But this last stone is going to take you know, an age to come off. It's not going to be an overnight thing. The only way I could really, you know, get that last stone off is if I was really going crazy on fizz, and I am getting on for 60. So I've got a few things that I am nursing from my military career, and I think a lot of heavy fizz would be something that I would have trouble with, wouldn't do me any good in the long term. So this last bit is going to be slowly catching monkey. But this is a typical breakfast for Roach, and I have to turn around and say I absolutely love it. I think as I go into the winter, you know, when we get up on those cold frosty mornings, I'm going to go for porridge with just a wince of kind of demerara sugar on the top, just as a little kind of spoil, you know. But had I not done something about my lifestyle or my eating habits, I'm not quite sure where that would have ended. But like I say, I was just over 20 stone. This is my little kitchen sink. It's working brilliantly, and always a little bit of washing up liquid and a little squirt of weak bleach, especially in the field. You know, just keeps everything nice and clean and stops you getting sick. I'm going to top that up with a little bit of water out the kettle as soon as it's boiled. Hogan seems to have found his spot out of the So, a walk in the woods, just the two of us. Hogan's finding it a little bit easier than I am. But can't really beat a bit of English woodland just at the beginning of autumn. Quite wet, but this is fire in any season. Fire in any season. A bit damp, but they'll do. Got to find some resin now. Sure, there's some about. Talk of the devil. That'll do nicely. Bit of dry standing. All of this stuff is just a little bit damp, you know, but I'm going to put it in my inside pocket, and an hour or so it'll be dry enough to spark up. Wow, that was a nice old walk in the woods. Been gone about an hour and a half, maybe a couple of hours. Just went and got lost really, sort of walked up onto the high ground through the woodland, out the other side into the valley, directly sort of opposite. Did a big kind of round robin, and back we came. We're here 25 to 2, so I guess it's time for a bit of lunch. So how'd you fancy a mixed leaf salad with cherry tomatoes and prawns and a bit of salad? Yeah, I think that's the best I can do on it. Wow, okay everybody, so I've obviously got a guest, always have someone to cook for. A bit of lunch, we're going to have a mixed leaf salad. I'm going to do some cherry tomatoes, some prawns and some chili smoked salmon. That's going to be lunch really. Beautiful sunny afternoon in Wales, you know, can't believe it's not raining. But, so that's just a packet of mixed leaf salad from my local supermarket. Got some cherry tomatoes, just going to cut those in half and throw them in. Got about, I don't know, 8 to 10 I suppose. Always better to do a little bit too much than not enough. You know, I was going to say it's the old, you always want to leave them wanting more, but that's what it's looking like. So that's my super duper little frying pan. Just got a little bit of virgin extra olive oil. That's what I'm going to do my prawns in. So just going to kind of warm that up. In go my
Just
beautiful
a little bit of that
prawns.
oil, just
king prawns. Heating it up, bring it to the boil, and I'll be throwing the prawns in a second. Lovely. Right, because we have got the prawns frying, and these bits of salmon have got chili flakes on them, I think I'm just going to put them in with the prawns, to be quite honest, as opposed to, if it was normal salmon I might have poached it in some warm milk, but yeah, I think what I'm going to do is just go with this beautiful salmon just in the little frying pan. So these are done. I'm going to put these to one side, get the salmon in. Let's see if I can get it on the plate in one piece. Presentation being everything, of course. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, a bit of mixed salad. So we had mixed leaf salad, a few cherry tomatoes, prawns, black olives, and the beautiful salmon with the chili flakes. Ladies and gentlemen, that is our lunch service. So my lunch guest is in fact not Lone Wolf or Mr. Wolf. It's Wild Soul V. I'm sure a lot of you know her. Yeah, just we sort of divvied up, you know, the ingredients that we had between us, and that's what we're having for lunch. We've sort of met up in Wales, got a brilliant little weekend, so we're just doing some kind of country walks and sitting down and talking nonsense like people do to unwind in the beautiful sunshine. How's your lunch?
Well, not bad.
I did my best to spoil it, as I do all of my guests. Keep watching, because Jamie Oliver's coming next week.
That's really good. Absolutely yummy.
Only thing's missing is a nice glass of white wine, but God doesn't give you everything. Who could be disappointed with this? We're going to have this little bit of lunch. So, I think it was the Bushcraft show or something like that. I was there with Lone Wolf, but this is kind of tips and tricks. Just doing a bit of washing up after that bit of lunch. But Rich sort of said to me that he saw these two, they're MOD aluminium washing up bowls, but they're great for kind of mixing food up in. You could make bread in them, you can wash and shave. I mean, they are so useful. And if you're putting a kind of camper together, if you're putting a truck or whatever, you can lay your hands on one of these. They're practically indestructible. They cost absolutely nothing, and they are so useful. You know, you see one of these MOD washing up bowls about. It's got the crow's foot on the bottom. This one's got 1974 on it. That tells you how old it is. Still absolutely peachy. I'm not kidding you. I think it was about a fiver. Lay your hands on one. So I'm going to make for pudding dessert some shortcake, shortbread, and kind of drizzle toffee topping. Just heating up this small saucepan, because I'm going to put a couple of chocolate bars in there with a drop of milk, melt them down till they reduce. So here's to my ingredients. What I've got here is plain flour with some caster sugar already mixed into it. Got some butter. So that's basically my shortbread with a pinch of salt, and then I've got a Snickers, a Marathon bar, and I've got a couple of Bounty bars, so coconut and milk chocolate. I'm going to melt these down and I'm going to drizzle them over. That is one of the most useful things you can lay your hands on. What I've got here is just plain flour and caster sugar. Don't ask me the kind of quantities. I kind of, packed enough, took enough really to make one dish. But so that is the plain flour and the caster sugar. thing we want to put in the flour is just a pinch of salt, just a wince, you know. So there you go. That should be plenty. Okay, then what we're going to do is put the butter in, and we are going to kind of, you know, mix it, knead it in our fingers until it is a sort of fine crumb. And then we're going to line a baking tray with some greaseproof paper, put it in the oven, bake it for about 20 minutes, 15 to 20 minutes, till we end up with a kind of shortbread, and drizzle over the top beautiful melted chocolate. So you're literally just sort of mixing it in your fingers, really. So that's the last little bit of butter that I'm getting off of the packet, but something I forgot to mention earlier was that it was unsalted butter, hence the little smidge of rock salt that I put in at the beginning. So it's unsalted butter. But I think that's basically it, really. I think that's what we're after. Okay, so that's my baking tin. Got a little bit of greaseproof paper here, and what we're going to do is kind of line the tin so there's probably too much. Let's just kind of zip that down. Okay. Right, the other thing to do with baking paper is just screw it up. This is like the oldest trick in the book. And then when you pull it out, it just fits in the tin a bit better. Yeah, so what we're going to do now is just put the crumbs into our lined baking tray. Don't want to waste it. And then all I'm going to do is just sort of damp it down with a fork. For all the guys watching that sort of think, oh, you know, I wish I could cook, this is insider dealing, really. I'm not sure I should tell you this, and if there are any young children watching, perhaps we could cover their ears. But when I was a younger man and courting, women love guys that can cook, and they love guys that are good with their hands, and I'll kind of leave it at that. But that is an absolute given. You know, you won't turn a lady's head quicker than cooking her a nice something. Right, so that's plain flour, caster sugar, salt-free kind of butter, and all mixed up to a crumb, bit of baking paper and a baking tray, and I'm just sort of firming it down. The other thing that I'm going to do now, so we can get a bit of heat through it, is just take the fork all the way to the bottom, all the way through your tray, if we can. Yeah, look at that. There we go. And all that's going to do is it's going to allow the heat to get through it. When it comes out of the oven, we're going to allow it to cool, and then we're going to do this kind of mixed chocolate topping. That is a Bounty bar, a Marathon, a drop of milk, and we're going to drizzle it all over the top. but if you really wanted to impress, you could there you go. So it's probably one last thing we could put on there, which is a bit of orange peel. You can either put it in the mix, or you can just put it on the top. But that's ready to go in the oven. If you're baking it at home, you're probably looking at 180 for 15 to 20 minutes, but just see old kind of keep an eye on it. And there we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's ready to go in the oven. Bring you back when it's... Right, that's our crumble done. Out of the oven. Kettle's boiled, so time for a nice cup of tea while we finish the old crumble off. I don't think that looks too bad, do you? All we've got to do now is dress the top of it. Okay, so I'm going to put our beautiful crumble into the washing up bowl, because this next bit is a bit messy. So that's going in there. Bring you in a bit closer so you can see what's going on. Oh, so this is our kind of chocolate bars that have been melted down, and just that kind of drop of milk. In truth, I probably put a little bit too much milk in. You just need the, you know, literally a kind of egg cup full at the most. It just stops the chocolate burning and sticking to the bottom of the pan when it's hot. Yeah? So this is going to be our topping. Your crumble. Remember I said the crumble was... the idea was that it was a kind of soft, so not like a snappy biscuit. Yeah, more like a soft cake type texture. But so I'm just pouring the chocolate on the top of it, and then we're going to might put it in the fridge to cool. And once it's cooled, we'll be chopping that up, and that's going to be our dessert. So that's not too bad. Right, so this is the hardest bit, people. Leave to cool. Okay, everybody, this is our shortbread dessert that has been left to set. So it's coming out of the baking tray, no problems at all, on the greaseproof paper. There we go, which is all good. And now we're just going to kind of peel down the edges. Yeah, baby. Look at that. So, would anybody out there in TV land like a slice? Okay, so this is it, people. Remember what we went for? We went for a soft kind of shortbread as opposed to a snappy biscuit, you know. But doesn't look too bad, does it? Of course, low fat, sugar free. I only made this for my guests, you see. I mean, it's not something I would eat, of course. But first time I've made it, so you know, got to have a little taste, haven't we? Okay, so in order to have an independent review, of course, here I have the stunning Wild Soul V. I'll put my hands up, I'm cheating. I'm asking a woman if she likes this chocolate cake I've made. I mean, this should be a pretty easy sell, fellas, but what do you think, then, V?
Well, the texture is very nice. I'm trying to kind of hold back here because I want to dive in. Okay. And oh my god, it is actually quite big. Oh, crumbly. I haven't.
Okay. Do you think we could make this again sometime?
Right, tomorrow.
Okay. Okay. Right. I'm going to have a little taste myself. So I think that's our independent opinion that actually you can make this in the field, and it will be edible and quite enjoyable should you or the family want to try it. So pretty straightforward, simple ingredients. Give it a go.